will give the floor to the representative of Malaysia.
Mr. President, at the outset, I wish to thank you for convening this important open debate, which allows non-members of the Council to express their views on worrying situation in the Middle East. We hope the views expressed here will be considered seriously by the Council members in all deliberations for the maintenance of peace and security in the region. Malaysia aligned itself with the statement delivered by Venezuela on behalf of the non-aligned movement. Mr. President, the situation in Palestine remains dire. Peaceful resolution of the longest man-made conflict remains elusive. This is largely due to the continued defiance by Israel, the occupying power, of various relevant UNSC resolutions, including Resolution 2334. The excessive use of force by Israel in responding to the Palestinians involved in the peaceful Great Return March, which Malaysia strongly condemns, is totally uncalled for and unacceptable. We therefore demand Israel to stop all violations and illegal activities and to fully comply with all its obligations as prescribed by all the resolutions. It is the responsibility of all members of the United Nations to contribute towards finding a just and peaceful solution to the conflict. And it is in this context that Malaysia reiterates its deep concern over the decision by the United States to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and to relocate its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. This decision, which regrettably is being emulated by a number of other states, undermines efforts towards finding a comprehensive, just and durable solution to the Palestinian-Israel conflict. It has caused dismay and frustration to a majority of member states, particularly the Palestinians and the Muslim world, and those who wish to see peace, stability, and security in the region. The decision does not just go against and undermine the relevant UNSC resolutions, but would also embolden Israel as the occupying power to continue to execute brutal occupation and repressive policies in the occupied Palestinian territory, a clear violation of international law, including humanitarian law, inflicting immense suffering to the Palestinians. On its part, Malaysia will continue to provide assistance within its means to the Palestinians, as well as the work of the United Nations Relief and Work Agency for Palestine, UNRWA, in providing assistance, protection, and advocacy for Palestinian refugees. We therefore urge all member states to fortify their support to the agency. We therefore urge all members, this is to ensure basic needs of the Palestinian refugees are met, which includes educational access, emergency food assistance, and other support, as well as primary health care. Malaysia sincerely hopes all members of the United Nations can provide positive contribution in breaking the impasse in the Middle East peace process, based on the relevant UNSC resolutions as well as international laws and norms. Malaysia continues to believe that the two-state solution, where Palestine and Israeli living side by side in peace based on the pre-1967 borders, with East Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine, is the only viable solution to this long-standing conflict. Mr. President, beside the situation in Palestine, Malaysia remains deeply concerned at the continued deteriorating humanitarian situation in Syria. In this regard, Malaysia stands in solidarity with the international community in addressing this issue and urges all parties to the conflict to adhere to the obligation under international law, including international humanitarian and human rights law. These parties must also fulfill their responsibility in enabling unfettered humanitarian access to reach those in need, critically sick and wounded. On numerous occasions, Malaysia has expressed its views that there is no military solution to the conflict in Syria. Political solution is the only way forward, and this hinges on the political will of conflicting parties themselves. Prolonging violence will not benefit any party and will only be exploited by terrorist groups and lead to further humanitarian catastrophe. Malaysia condemns in its strongest possible terms of the use of chemical weapons by any parties under any circumstances. The use of such weapons is abhorrent and a flagrant violation of international law, especially the Chemical Weapons Convention, CWC. Malaysia also strongly believes that the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW, is the sole organization mandated to undertake investigation on chemical weapon use. In this regard, Malaysia urges all parties concerned to cooperate with the OPCW to ensure an impartial and thorough investigation of the Duma incident. Finally, Mr. President, Malaysia has always believed that in dealing with the matters of peace and security, all parties must act in a manner consistent with the Charter of the United Nations and international law. In this regard, Malaysia believes that no military solution can bring an end to any conflict in this world, and is ultimately only the innocent life will suffer. We therefore urge all parties involved to bridge all political divides, to find political solution through dialogue and negotiations in all conflicts, be it in Palestine, Syria, Yemen, or anywhere else in the world. We appeal to all parties to demonstrate restraint and avoid any actions that could escalate conflicts further that would only worsen the suffering of our fellow human beings. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Malaysia